Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's AYCG Moviecast, episode 469. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
Hello?
Corey Feinsod.
Yo!
And Tony Kokonakis. There you go.
Annyeong.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome, listeners, viewers, to the Halloween edition. Even though it's Halloween does happen. We do have one more after this, but we're going to do our Halloween list here. This was our top 5 horror villains. I don't know, we make a consensus list. I don't know. We don't have to do that with these. These are like, whatever. We're going to talk about it. I guess we can make a consensus list if you'd like. But in this episode, that's what we're going over. That's our topic. Welcome right now. We're going to talk about some interesting news that came out this week. The big news, obviously. The big news. But let's first get into what we've been up to. I can say that, personally, I'll kick us off. Break the ice here. I got into some anime, finally. In as well as watching Dragon Prince, which is not anime. It's anime-ish, anime style.
Not anime.
Yeah. I watched Demon Slayer.
Nice.
Yes. Four episodes in. So I got a bunch of work done. What happened was it's a fortuitous sprain, I guess, because I got to watch some episodes today. I stepped in a pothole yesterday and really hurt my ankle. Really hurt my. I went for an X-rays this morning. It was bad. So it was bad, but it's only a mild sprain, and I can't imagine, because I've never really, I've twisted my ankle before where it hurts. I've never sprained it like this, and this hurts. I can't imagine what like a full sprain feels like. This is a mild sprain. I did one ligament got sprained.
So what were you doing?
I was walking around the house.
Holes.
Yeah,
Damn.
I was walking around the house, and I guess with the recent rainstorm, it made a divot outside of my walkway. And
shit!
And it was kind of on a hill by my grandmother's place. I kind of like stepped and I went right down. I went right down, and then I was like, "Oh no, I'm okay." And I went to get up, and I'm like, "Oh no!" Tim had to help me back downstairs.
Put that pressure on.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Tim's like, "Can you walk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." So I went to stand up, and oh god, the scream and the profanity that came out of my mouth was just. But yeah, so the gym's out for a little while. But anyway, so I got to watch
Arm day now.
Demon Slayer, which I am enjoying quite a bit. You're right, the fight sequences are so good. Like, I really enjoying that part of it. Because I was like, what is the draw here? I'm like, I didn't like the beginning too much myself, but
a little slow.
Yeah. I just kind of was like, whatever. But I do like this quite a bit. The character learning is interesting. The paths. I like the first introduction of the first Demon Slayer guy, the samurai.
Or something.
Yeah, I really like his character.
He's a badass. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed
learn a little more about him later on.
I'm sure. And the Master, which is kind of cool to watch.
Demon Mask.
Yep. So I really am enjoying this quite a bit. And then
you didn't get to the final selection, right?
No, I did not get there yet. No. So.
Like he's still training, basically.
He is. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Because after once it hits the final selection, the thing just like catapults.
Okay, because there's no like, it's not like, okay, I have to watch this next episode. I did, but I'm like, there was no hook yet. I know it's gonna be there, but there's always that one that just okay, let's go, and then you watch the rest of the series. But yeah. Sure. So I watched that. I actually watched the Watchmen. On HBO.
It's like a sequel, or
it's a sequel, I believe. The thing is I kind of went really in the dark with this, like not knowing really too much about what was going on, and so it's kind of really bizarre. The intro it feels very anime-ish, where you're kind of like, as we just described, you're kind of like, what is going on here? Like, they don't really give you enough information. You assume they're going to fill in these blanks. That's what I'm hoping they do, because there's a lot of blanks in the beginning. Like, you're like, I guess they're telling me this in the story, and they'll go back to what the hell that was. But it was good. It was a very good premiere based on it was an interesting premiere based on racism, it was. I guess that's really what this universe is about here now. Well, sort of racism, but it's like against cops and stuff. Like they have to mask police now. They have to wear masks to hide who they are. That's kind of it's a weird premise, but I'm enjoying it. Like, very visually stunning, like excellent camera work, cinematography. Cool. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I watched that, and There was one other thing I watched too. Shoot, I don't remember it on the spot now. There is one more thing I know I watched. I was like, oh, I got to talk about this on the podcast. Oh, never mind. I listened to a podcast, and I'm going to talk about it on the podcast. I listened to Office Ladies.
Nice.
You know, do you hear about this one, guys? The Office, Jenna Fisher and the woman that played the blonde-haired Angela are doing their own podcast where they're going to go episode by episode and break it down. And I really enjoyed it. Like, it was really cool to they basically they go over the premiere, give you like fun facts about what stuff was going on behind the scenes, because it was the pilot, it was even more like interesting news because like they had original casting, what happened to these people, why they had to recast. They were going through like all of that. It was really awesome.
I always love those behind the scenes looks and a little more insight of behind the curtain stuff.
Yeah. I was really, really impressed with that episode because it started off kind of like you can hear they were nervous and they almost kind of like hit their stride about halfway through. So I'm really looking forward to the next episode.
Cool.
And so I mean, it's new for them, I'm sure. They haven't really done a podcast before, but and it's not easy talking in front of Mike, even though we're not talking in front of all of you listeners right now. It's always tough to get things rolling, I have to say. It really is. So I do appreciate their work here. And I'm looking forward to, like, as like that show hit its stride, season 2 and 3, where they're going to go with the story, because they talk about how this season 1 was basically a rewrite of the British show. While they had their own stuff, they said that it was the script was the same. The pilot was definitely the same. It was straight from.
So it was like, I think I mentioned that there was a story I heard. I forget where it was like how the writers wanted to keep it like the UK, like the UK version, and then the executives were like, no, you have to make. Yeah. Michael Scott, I gotta say, 40-year-old virgin character.
Yes, and so that change, obviously, that usually an executive decision like that usually affects the show. Like where the writers get, like a writer, you assume like people like us want to hear from the writer and what they want to bring their vision. Yeah. But I gotta give the executive side credit there because if they stuck to the British side of things, like. I don't know where that show would have been. It probably wouldn't have made as long as it did. It would have never been like what we got from season 3 and 4. And because they did tell them like Michael Scott can be like that terrible David Brent boss, but you got to show signs that he's actually competent, like he knows what he's doing, because he would have lost his job years ago. So that was like the thing they built him on. So like they always showed he was such a great salesman in the show, and but that was the executives' decisions on that one, not the writers. So that was pretty interesting that they came up with that. But yeah, so it's good podcast. I recommend it if you're an Office fan. Cool. That's pretty much it for me. Mike? Nothing?
Just YouTube stuff, not anything else.
All right.
No Yankees, Mike.
No,
we're not going to talk about
Yankees.
that.
Don't exist. Yankees don't exist. Tony?
No, nothing for me.
Okay. Corey?
I did start watching an anime, another one called Garden of Sinners. Have you heard of that, Tony? I think it takes place in the Fate universe. The Fate universe. Yeah. But it is weird as it is like weird as fuck. I don't know if I can. My coworker who recommended or who talks up Demon Slayer a lot, he was talking about this one too. So I was like, well, I'll check it out. But I have not been able to get into it yet. And it's more like movies. Like they're like hour episodes, but they're like movies instead of TV show episodes. So there's only 8 of them, and I think they're like an hour each or so. So I was like, I'll check it out. But yeah, so I don't know. I'll see. It's just really weird so far. Like, I don't know if I can. It starts off with like girls just like committing suicide randomly, and then like these people are like, what is going on here? There's like no rhyme or reason to this, and we got to figure out what's happening. So, but it's just got that whole kind of drab, like nothing's happening yet kind of thing. Gotcha. Like I'm sure things will start going on, but yeah, I was like, whoa, this is really weird. Yeah. So we'll see.
All right. And nothing else then? Good.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the box office then. I don't have it open. I'm sorry, everybody. I do have it open. No,
Maleficent.
Maleficent. Yeah, Maleficent was 36 million, number 1, beating the Joker finally, taking over number 1 spot. Joker still did a good hold at 29.3 million. That movie has now passed Deadpool as the highest grossing rated R movie, or it will be passing. It's 40 million short right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Domestically?
Domestically, yes. Oh, is it domestically or internationally? I don't know, but I know that it's. I was reading that today on box office. The box
That's
office.
Justice League internationally
I
and
like
probably
how, I
domestically.
like how Justice League is like that bar. That bar, like just get past here, and then you can see where you're. It's like here's the line of water, and then you can like once you get head up there.
Well,
Let's
it's
see where you
because
can
it's
go.
like Justice League was supposed to be the Avengers for this universe, and so anytime anything passes, it's like, well, that just goes to show this was terrible decision, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that always should have been an easy $1 billion, like an easy $1 billion. And,
You really had to try not to make $1 billion.
Yeah.
And they tried.
Yeah. So it's doing well. Anyways, Zombieland is not doing very well. 26.8 million. It had a huge. They're expecting a huge fall off this week too. Just from projections. So it's not doing so hot. Addams Family. At 16.1, that's number 4. It's a spread this week on and Gemini Man, which is going to now lose them $75 million, which I guess is not the worst for a movie, but that's pretty bad. That's number 5. I like how they just know this now by just scaling and projections. It's going to lose them $75 million. So Will Smith can't save Gemini Man, so can't save himself.
What are they? Some side of Suicide Squad now?
Yeah, he chose poorly there.
He chose Gemini Man, yeah, but whatever. So they have to get I don't know. They'll hopefully bring him back. So for Suicide Squad, like a third one, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I like the dead shots.
Yeah. Terminator Dark Fate is in like previews now. Early reviews are coming out saying it's franchise resurrected. Did we go that far yet? I mean, this is the thing about these screenings is they're favorable screenings. They're in front of people that you would assume are going to say this, I hope. So
apparently they had like a screening of it, which they advertised as Terminator 2 Judgment Day coming back into theaters. Dark Fate, which is pretty cool, I guess.
That's a cool
if you're a fan of Terminator, because you've already seen Terminator 2, I'm sure. But at the same time, it's like, wait, I paid for Terminator 2. I wanted to see this in the big screen. I was all excited, but then.
Do you watch it? Do you watch it and like? Do you watch it and then go complain in the movie theater? Like, this wasn't the movie I paid for. I don't know.
Right.
All right.
That's why I was like, that's really cool with that.
The big news this week, guys. The big news. Let's just get to it now. I don't know if we've all seen it. Corey, you're avoiding it. I'm
not actively avoiding it. I just didn't go out of my way to watch it either, because I actually wasn't around to see it, so to speak, when it showed during Monday Night Football.
Oh, okay, so the Star Wars trailer premiered, the newest one, the last one. Mixed reviews. I can see the mixed ideas from people. Like it didn't have the excitement of the first one so much, but I enjoyed the scenes and I like the fact that it was more of a. I don't want to see too much of a movie. Like I don't. So I'm happy that they only gave us like a little more a peek at one area new, and then the rest was exactly what we kind of saw already, just a little bit more, with a couple of extra stuff thrown in. But my excitement level's like really high for this, and considering like I was not a big fan of Last Jedi as much as like Tony, which I know you're looking forward to the end of this franchise, this run, not franchise, this run. Let me rephrase that, because we talked about in our chat, it's where you want this franchise to go after this, but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for this finale. Like, and the more I see the previews and hear like the Luke voice that we got in this trailer was the old Luke. Like you can hear it in the tone. It wasn't Hermit Luke. Have you noticed that? And I don't know if anybody else picked that up, but I definitely liked to have that, because that's what I didn't like about The Last Jedi to me. It was like that wasn't Luke. That
it was
new, but
it was.
I feel like this should give him a little bit.
You gonna dispute it? It's official.
This will but so is midichlorians.
That's fine.
It's all fan fiction at this point.
Yeah, but by the way, I do have somebody who is going to watch this for the first time, Star Wars Machete style. So we are going to get reactions. Cool. I'll get reactions from them. So I just found out I bought tickets for my brother and his girlfriend. His girlfriend's never seen it, so he texted me. I bought tickets for this movie for them as it went on sale, and I got a text from him. He's like, "What? How should she watch these movies?" And I'm like, 4, 5, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. So, I'm like, he's like, okay, so that's what they're gonna do. But we'll see. So,
Gonna
anyways,
skip out on Qui-Gon and Darth Maul completely.
yeah.
No,
So,
I think that's a mistake.
yeah, I don't know. I think it's fine because it's not it's not something you absolutely need. I don't know. You just don't need that.
No, I
You
mean,
don't need any of the prequels.
I agree.
I think it's a nice
Or
backstory as
or the
Anakin.
current franchise, or the current 3 movies. You don't need either.
So yeah, back to the Rise of Skywalker though. We have I don't have the final numbers from this news, but I do. The breaking news that came out was it sold more tickets in the first hour of pre-sale than any other movie in Atom ticket history. So that beat out.
Yeah.
But now I remembered. Do you all remember my complaints?
Adam did something else silly too recently, though. Like something else outsold something it shouldn't have.
But everything else was broken at Endgame's launch. Like, I remember I couldn't buy my tickets for like 4 hours.
Yeah, Corey had to send an underling out to get tickets.
Yeah, they had to physically go to the theater to get the tickets because you couldn't do it online.
Yeah.
Like
So-
the AMC's thing was down for like hours.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was
So
like
that's-
most of the day.
So that's the thing. It's a metric. I'm not saying it's not a metric, but Endgame tickets launch at like, what was it, like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever it was. And Skywalker tickets went on sale at what, like 6 p.m., 7 p.m., like...
I think it was like 8:30.
8:30. Something, people are still awake and stuff like that. It's not like...
Still awake and at home, like most likely on a Monday night,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. But the time of it was different too. I don't know. I don't have like actual numbers released. So that
I mean, it's definitely good. There was obviously a lot of hype. And
there's a lot of draw.
I sent that picture of that, like, sold out. So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
I mean,
but,
we got our tickets, but
yeah, and there are people that I know, like, they were trying to get tickets as well and couldn't get them.
my issue that I ran into, and I know this is maybe not like. I don't know, it's our podcast, so we can talk about this. My issues I ran into was AMC's app was not clear about the fact that they had a line queue. So I opened the line. Yeah. So I opened the app with like 30 minutes in advance, remember? But I closed it. But you can't close it. You have to leave it on your screen and you stay in queue. So I didn't reopen it until like under 10 minutes left. And then I was 18 minutes waiting before I got in to buy a ticket. And if I had known there was going to be a line queue, I would have just left it on my screen. And that kind of upset me because we could have had better seats. We did get into the first showing, like I said I was going to do.
You have to,
Yeah.
As long as we're not in row B and A, like
no, we're in the C, we're in the bottom C. Section,
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
You're still okay there.
Yeah.
You just don't want to be up that one next level.
And then Mike and I were going Saturday that week. We're going to the newest theater by us here, the luxury theaters. And so we'll have a beer and a Star Wars. And so that'd be cool. But we'll try that theater out. And that was very easy to buy tickets for, I have to say. Sinopolis was like super... I went on today to look for another ticket for my friend John, and they're still there. So, Sinopolis, it's the big theaters, Regal, AMC.
I mean, also the nice theaters, because no offense, the new Sinopolis, like, they redid that theater, but it's still a nice, crappy theater.
Yeah.
Like, it's the screen is... I feel like sitting on my couch and looking at my 65-inch TV is the same thing almost. That's how small it feels like.
Yeah. Interesting. So we could have sat closer, is what you're saying, than the E row, which is more towards the back. But
it's just small. It's really small. Like,
Okay.
you're gonna go see it at AMC, and then you're gonna go see it at Sinopolis. You're gonna be like, whoa, it's like.
Yeah, especially because I'll
really...
see it, 2 days before, less than 2 days before, essentially. But yeah, so we got our premiere showing, and Tony, did you get tickets?
Yeah.
Good. All right, you going premiere night, or are you going?
No, premiere night.
Okay.
Just so I can get out of the way.
Yeah.
Gotta get it done.
I just don't want to get the spoilers and that, so.
Yeah.
What's some news we have about this? Oh, the runtime for Rise of Skywalker has been confirmed to be the longest Star Wars movie ever, 155 minutes. So, and it got a PG-13 rating.
155.
Okay. Didn't all, like, 3 of the movies? No, Jedi.
No, just
Hour and 2.5 hours.
yeah, Revenge
I
of the
was gonna
Sith.
say, like,
Revenge of the Sith was the only one that got PG-13.
It feels like these movies could do better as like a 3 hours, right?
Yeah, well, 2 hours and 35 minutes is
people will
pretty
sit
good.
through it for that long. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 hours and 35 is
I don't
a
know.
pretty good chunk movie. It's a pretty big movie, so.
Well, I mean, Endgame was longer, right?
And game was like a full 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
So, I don't know. We got into a conversation about the box office performance for movies coming up for a little bit on on our chat and Discord.
Well, the thing I do want to say is like you don't necessarily need a longer movie to tell a better story. Like that's not required or anything like that. And obviously we saw how just throwing sequences into a movie doesn't really work, just to like kind of pad the numbers a little bit. Like we saw that with Last Jedi. So just because it's like not hitting those endgame length numbers doesn't mean it's going to be bad. Sure.
No, it's. I mean, we'll get into like numbers for this later on as we get closer. I think we'll do a predictions episode. Well, obviously we'll do like a preview and like do a cover and what we're expecting, but we'll get into that as we get closer. So let's get into some other news here. Fast and Furious writer is meeting with Keanu Reeves for a possible role in the newest Fast and Furious movie.
So nobody's seen Hobbs and Shaw yet, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say villain. Villain for Keanu Reeves? Is this accurate, Corey?
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
Who becomes a good guy?
Maybe. I mean, that's what happens in this movie all the time. So Jason Statham, all of them actually. Let me rephrase this: the entire team is villains, and then they get their heist people, so they're criminals. But they are then they become.
And then even the good guys turn bad at some point.
So, do you guys remember Jeff Loeb?
Yeah.
I just feel like it's been a while.
The head of DC Cinema, right, or something.
He's leaving Marvel TV.
Loeb?
Yeah.
Wait, isn't he DC?
No, he's.
No, he was one of the Wolverine workers, I think.
Oh, I'm thinking of somebody else.
He's
then.
head of Marvel TV, the guy that goes to Comic-Con every year, and.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's
reportedly all the Shield # all connected.
Yep, he's reportedly leaving Marvel, very shortly. Over the Thanksgiving break is what I'm hearing. So.
Oh no.
The promotion of Feige basically has axed his position entirely. So he's looking for other locations. I wonder if he goes to DC Universe or something like that. You know, he can probably go to the DC Universe area and work there. But I don't know. We haven't heard from him in a while. Marvel Television is pretty much dead at this point.
He seemed like a cool guy, though.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. He enjoyed his work. He enjoyed his work for certain.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, it could be obviously related to Feige. Who knows what type of relationship
they didn't get along. They didn't get along.
I think he's. Yeah, I mean, I think he's older too. Like, isn't he?
He is.
So I don't know.
But I know I heard they weren't getting along too well. So that's for certain. But
well, # it's all connected. That was him, right?
Yes, that is him. So. All right. Last of the news, we have Watchmen. Back to that. The premiere for it scored the highest rated premium cable premiere of 2019. So,
what does that even mean?
Let's see. What's it beat?
A lot of people watched it, and more so than any other show on premium cable.
Yes. So, it did not outdo the premiere of Game of Thrones, but the premiere in 2011. The premiere, but it was that close. So that's a pretty good premiere. They got to be very happy with that. So that's interesting. Yeah, that's good. That's good numbers. That's good. That's good. Good television there. So, I mean, their next episode's gonna have to really bring a lot of information to it. I think to keep people. I think everybody's gonna give it a few episodes to let them get an idea of this universe under control. Because if you don't know anything about this universe at all, you're like, what is going on? Because I really am trying to. I remember a little bit about the Watchmen movie. But I'm, watching this, like, trying to understand what's going on within this. So, I don't know. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it for the news.
You don't want to talk about...
I missed this stuff. I missed this stuff up top. Sorry. I missed this stuff up top. Netflix has revealed its most viewed shows. And obviously Stranger Things is at the top. No big shock there, right? Not really.
By a lot.
Nope.
It is by a lot, but I mean, there's no big shock there. So I mean, their viewership declined again for the second quarter, despite having me paying them now 2 months in a row.
Wow, that's weird.
Well, I
don't they know that? They don't know that?
I forgot.
I think you should let them know. Be like, hey,
I forgot to cancel, so I canceled now. They got me for another $17 this month because I forgot to cancel in time. So
they
got
4K
me.
Content. You gotta get it somewhere.
I know.
That's where they get you.
Yeah. So I mean, the numbers are pretty good. I mean, Umbrella Academy, you can see is 45 million is the number they gave for that most viewed show. 45 million. Stranger Things at 64. Umbrella is a big hit on their hands. That second season could be huge for them, as long as they do it right. Yeah. But those are the big standouts for me on this list. So our planet gets a lot of viewership, which I still have to watch that. I heard that was pretty good.
There's a few on there that are like British focused ones on there too that like we haven't heard of.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's interesting. So we got that news, and then we also have the Riddler has been cast in the Batman now as Paul Dano has been cast as the Riddler. Yeah. So, and the most recent article that came out, let's tie this together real quick. Paul Dano's audition for the Riddler has inspired Robert Pattinson for his voice in Batman.
Weird.
I did not hear about that.
Yes, so he just went on record. Go on.
I'm getting a little more nervous about Pattinson.
Yeah, let me give you the
things he starts to say.
Let me give you this quote. I'm going to give you this quote. And good timing, Mike. Let me give you this quote. Here we go. This is a quote. William's voice, and this is kind of inspiring for it. To be honest, Patton said in response to the interviewer asking whether he had practiced his Batman voice, and then he said in quotes, "It is pretty similar, the voice I'm going to do to what the Riddler's doing." He continued, adding his opinion that, and this is more quotes, Batman has a sort of piratey kind of voice. I think that would really suit it.
Okay.
So you'd say he talks like this or something?
Let's go.
Sail the seas.
I don't know what he's meaning with this, but
Mr. Sparrow.
Again,
I wouldn't say it's piratey at all.
Initially, I was like, all right, that could work. And the more he talks, the more worried I'm getting. So we'll see. Because he also said, he's not a hero or something.
Well, as far as like heroes are concerned, he's more complex than say a Superman.
He quickly.
I mean, here's the thing about that. Like, he has like more morals than most superheroes.
Well, no, but
like,
I mean,
more defined morals normally.
His quote just.
I think a lot of people are still hung up on the animated series version of the Batman, and that is one of the most definitive Batmans. But like, almost all these other mediums like that he's in, like could be brutal and
but not
very
really.
much.
Like, you pay attention to any of the like animated DC movies that have come out, or even the recent comics. He's not killing people, not on purpose.
Well, no, it's like usually not. No, I understand that, but I'm just saying he's still a very dark character that's complex. Batman.
He's not complex. He's simple, really. He stays to. I wouldn't call him a complex character.
No. I think there's more to Batman than Superman.
There's more complexity to that, but I don't think his words can be like that. You can be that upset because I mean it reminded me of like the Justice League Doom thing, where it's like, Batman is, while he's the hero, he's also like that neutral guy who is there still checking the heroes, and he's like, and he even says, "I'm not the hero." He has said that many times. I'm not a hero. He's like the checks guy.
Of course, but that's what the hero's supposed to say.
So, yeah. But he's
basically in the Hollywood Reporter. It also says that Jeffrey Wright is going to be playing Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, really? That is confirmed now?
Well, it says that here. It says Pattinson starring as Batman with Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, and Jeffrey Wright is on board as Batman ally Commissioner Gordon. And then Jonah Hill was at one point eyeing the Riddler, but now we know it's going to be Paul Dano.
Yeah. So are they just doing the Riddler in this one? This is what we're getting, first Riddler?
No, I mean, I think we're going to get another villain.
You normally get two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
mean, we're getting Catwoman.
The thing is, with the Riddler, I don't know if he works by himself. He needs something else to play off.
I don't know if he works in a serious movie.
I think he does. I think he does. I think he could be
the Hush version of Riddler is very interesting.
Yeah, I think so. That's the one I was thinking of immediately. Actually,
I gave up on Gotham before he fully got developed there, but I know that they went farther with him.
I watched the premiere of that finally, of the last season. That was a good premiere. So yeah, I'm getting that done finally too. I'm getting some work done.
I got like 4 seasons of that.
That's
over,
right?
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's over with.
Okay.
My sprained ankle has caused me to get some work in on my shows. So. And some gaming, which we'll get into.
Good job.
But Yeah. So today was an active day for my catching up on things. So, but yeah. So that's it for the news. We'll get some more information on the Batman as it films, and we'll get. He hasn't even seen the final version of the suit either. There's no, he's seen the inspirations of it, but he hasn't worn the suit yet. So they have not actually. I don't know what that means for anything, but he says it looks amazing to him. Obviously, he's going to say that he is playing Batman, but I don't know what kind of version they're going to go with. I think they're going to go with, but for the record, I think it's going to be more of a softer look, not the spandex, but spandex look, with the big the modern the new 52 Batman. That's what I think they're going to go with. That's my theory.
Yeah, I could see that.
I figure it's going to be year one-y. Everything about it.
Do you
it's
think?
Going to be like year one.
Do you think he's crazy enough to go with a dark blue instead of a black?
No, never. They will never do that again.
I guess not. I don't know.
No, I mean I could see we need to switch out a costume or something at some point and have him pull out that old raggedy one or something.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's get into our topic of the night, which is going to be the top 5 horror villains for ourselves. This was easier for me here than the games. Games are tough so I went with characters to give you guys a preview of that. Went with characters instead of villains for that. But this was a lot easier for me, and I like my number 1 a lot, and I will defend that to the grave.
Okay.
So I really like my number 1, but I'll kick the list off. My number 5 for the top horror villain, I went with Freddy at number 5. Because it's not a knock on Freddy, it's that I like the other 4 more. And I know he's the classic. He's when we said this, let's do this list, that's the first name that came to my head. That's right. Oh, here comes the audio.
Oh, there it is. It's Freddy's furnace.
Yeah, there's the furnace. Freddy's coming for you. So I never liked Jason. So Jason, just to give you guys a preview of my list, Jason is not on my list. But Freddy Krueger is the classic villain. His movies were not my favorites, but he's that iconic villain. That's why he made at least my top 5. Mike?
My list is a little fluid because I really don't watch horror movies that much, but see, I'm going to go then with Jason. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I always find it scarier. A lot of people say with horror that, it's the character, is intelligent or talks, it's scarier. I don't think so. I find once you humanize the villain a little bit, it seems less scary to me. So, for me, Jason was more of a force than, a person, kind of like Freddy was. And I don't really like the 80s slasher movies that much, so this is probably going to be the only one that I put in there from there, so I'm going to go with Jason.
Okay. Corey?
I'm going to go with the girl from The Ring. I don't even know her name. But that chick is freaky as fuck.
Freaky, yes. Yeah. Oof. Scared the shit out of me, that movie. I watched that at your parents' house, Corey, with you. I remember watching that at your house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I watched it there. First time ever.
Was it the American version, or is it the Ringu Japanese version?
No, I watched the American version first, then we watched the Japanese version second. So that was a terrible day.
No, I mean, it's one of those movies where it's concept was kind of it was interesting at the time. It was oh, this is really cool. And
the Ring, did the Ring have Michelle Gellar in it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Or was that The Grudge?
No, that was The Grudge.
Oh, I'm thinking The Grudge. Never mind. I'm thinking about The Grudge then. We watched the Japanese version. The Ring. We watched Ring. That's what we did. We watched that one.
Ringu.
Yeah, I watched that one.
All I know is The Ring. That definitely was really freaky.
Yeah. So, all right, Tony.
I put Leatherface, kind of going along with what Mike was saying. I appreciate this character because he wasn't superhuman, but for all intents and purposes, he might as well not have been a human because he just couldn't be reasoned with or anything. It was just he's just a psychotic killer cannibal, and it's just it's really creepy actually.
And the fact that it's based on reality.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just to me
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's cool. Yeah, I mean he's a classic one there, and I was thinking Pinhead and all those other classic horror villains there, but I went more new with mine. Well, not really. That's not true because my next one is Bram Stoker's Dracula. I went with that one. I
The
was gonna go with
Keanu Reeves.
The Gary Oldman one.
Yeah, I was gonna go. Yeah, I went with that one. I was gonna go with the Nosferatu.
Even with the beehive hair.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I think that's like, I don't know. I like that one. I like that movie a lot. I like that villain.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, and that's what I think makes that. Nosferatu is not. I didn't like that movie as much, and I think that's. I mean, that's like the iconic, the first Count Dracula movie kind of thing, vampire at least. But I went with this one instead for me. So I think Dracula has to make a villain list. It's just a matter of like which version of him was the best one I saw, and I think that's why I went with this one. So, Mike.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with something a little different, and I'm gonna go Jack Torrance.
Oh,
from The Shining.
Yeah, I almost did.
No, that's valid.
Well,
I almost did that
why
too.
it's different is because he's kind of not really the villain or the force behind it, but he kind of is. And the other reason why it's different is because I find the movie kind of funny. Now that when you watch it now, it's kind of like it's just kind of funny.
You could have put the hotel,
but it's still it's very entertaining, and like it's just and it's the opposite of what I just said. But he's like a captivating like character just because you watch him like go insane and just become the villain slowly, and it's just an it's like a big time horror movie performance that is unforgettable, but maybe for slightly different reasons now than it used to be. I just kind of find it sort of silly at this point, but I still like it.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
all right,
totally reasonable.
Where do we go next? Tony next, right? Tony.
Yep. Number 4 from you is Jason as well, actually, from Mike's list. Just because this was a bit more like I was saying about Leatherface, like it's a force of, darkness, nature, whatever you want to call it. And, whatever, the slasher movies of the 80s, it was, I don't know if a lot of them have particularly aged well, but just the character's so iconic, it's spawned so many, homages and stuff like that. You gotta respect it.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I feel you.
Corey,
I'm gonna go with Jigsaw
from
the Saw movies here, and I just think that this one I as far as like when you're saying like as a force, like kind of not necessarily stupid, but just like an unstoppable monster type of thing. Here you have a guy who is basically dying and just manipulates everybody into doing horrific things to themselves, and that's pretty scary to see that. Yeah. And just to see like how far he'll go to kind of get people to realize what they have and what he's losing.
Yeah, he shows up. We'll be talking about him a little bit too as well. He's on my list as well.
Cool.
So, but he's not number 3. Number 3 for me is the creature from The Thing.
Nice. That's my number 2.
Yeah,
that's going to be on my list as well.
Oh, we have a multiple. We have a multiple here. So the only ones that obviously that Jigsaw's ahead of him, but the only 2 that beat him in my opinion were like real like great like single villains, and I went with Jigsaw later on. I'll explain that, but I loved that movie The Thing, and that's another part. Like I mentioned with Dracula, like I loved the Bram Stoker's Dracula with Keanu Reeves, and this movie, I love this movie. It's our number 1 horror movie to watch, and this like who is it? Where is it? Who's in it? Who's it in? I just love that aspect of the mystery of things and trying to decide who's who. I just love that part of it. Plus, it's like I don't know, it's kind of a sci-fi thing, and I like having I like that mix. I like that mix.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, just going off like the slasher stuff, like you'd be like, oh, it's evil or darkness or whatever, and that's cool and all. Like, don't get me wrong, that is just like the easy low-hanging fruit for a horror thing, but like some alien thing like coming to Earth, and this is like we can't even possibly understand it. But yeah, to me, it's like one of the quintessential like villain tropes, where it's just like this being that again we can't really begin to understand what it is or what it wants. We just know that it's dangerous, and that's the thing is like I love how it starts off with like they don't even know what's going on, like just weird scary shit starts happening, and they slowly begin to understand a little bit more and a little bit more, and unfortunately by that time it's too late really to quarantine it. And it just the other aspect I liked was how it used people against themselves and each other. Just like, can I trust this person? Like it's that intrigue, and I love that in like games, especially like board games and stuff like that. So it's just like just magnified to me for just like, how can you not appreciate this as a monstrous character?
Yeah. So, Mike, what was your number 3?
Norman Bates, I'm going with. This is, again, he's very human, but it's his humanity that kind of makes him scarier.
Yeah.
In this case, because it's like a real, like, somewhat realistic portrayal of someone who just goes crazy, and it's just the classic sort of, mama's boy, sheltered, who goes wrong and starts killing people, like sexually repressed. It checks all the boxes in Psycho. It's really the first time you really saw something like that put on film. And Norman Bates is, you have Norman Bates types in movies and, even real life. Like, it's just an archetype now. So to me, Norman Bates was a good one. And Psycho is one of the, I think, my favorite Hitchcock movie. It's the most interesting one, at least in my opinion.
Cool. All right. Tony.
Number 3?
Yeah, number 3.
Right. Okay, sorry. Predator.
Oh.
Just going on with it, what spoke to me about Predator was that it's the ultimate hunter.
Right.
It's just, it's
Craven.
Yeah, right. It's not necessarily like quote unquote evil. It's not like, in its eyes, it's not doing anything evil. It's just doing what,
Where's
hunters
the best game? Where's the best sport? And like, what's gonna give me the best challenge? Yeah. Exactly.
But it's just so fearsome in that not only is it, physically impressive and stuff like that, but it has technology that, where it was set, is so far advanced beyond our own that it's just like, how do you fight this thing? How do you do that? And just the original movie and how, that army platoon or whatever it was just, slowly got their numbers dwindled while, again, they were trying to understand their enemy and assess the situation till Arnold finally put a couple pieces together to barely scrap by that fight. Just truly awesome and, honestly a little horrifying if you think about what it would do to you,
Yeah. All right, Corey, number 3.
What was number 3? So my number 3 is Freddy. You mentioned him before, Jim. But for me, I think that what really elevates him as a horror movie villain is the fact that, and they kind of make it really campy later on, but like in the original ones, like what's the safest thing? Like, what's safe for most people is like, what do you hear all the time? It's like, go to sleep and you wake up, everything will be better, right? But like with Freddy, that's the whole problem. You can't go to sleep, and so that's like what's really scary for me, and something that when I was younger that terrified me.
Yeah. Like, how do you defend yourself?
What do you do? Like, you're supposed to, that's like your safe place. Like, you go into your dreams and like just like wake up and everything's good. Like, you can't do that here. And so having that fear of like you can't sleep it terrified me as a kid. And so that elevated him as a villain in horror movies, and obviously he's got that iconic look as well. So, but yeah, I really don't like what they kind of campy him up a little bit there. He definitely was a lot more menacing, I thought, in the earlier films.
Yeah, I think he's just a classic villain. You're right. I mean, another reminder, like, the whole dream thing. That's just like the freakiest thing ever. So, my number 2 is Jigsaw. That's why I went with number 2. I moved him to number 2 is because I like his like menacing. Like, he doesn't do anything. You have to do it yourself. He puts you in situations where you have to choose the 2 negatives, but usually, the impossible scenarios, and I just love that kind of mind fuck villain kind of thing, where it's just like, yeah, Jesus, what do you do here? And I don't know, it's a brutal. Those are brutally like bloody movies that, and then the fact that he's like, he's dying of cancer, and there's another aspect of things where you're just kind of like, wow, it's. I did the original stuff. I don't like the newer stuff. I didn't like so much, but I really liked him as a villain. So I think he's my number 2. So, Mike.
My higher numbers I'm sort of reserving for more iconic characters. So I'm gonna go with Frankenstein's monster. If I have to choose a specific one, I would sort of do the Boris Karloff originals.
Oh, okay.
Just because it's just so much And some of those the takes in the movies are actually pretty good. There's actually a Robert De Niro one too, when he's the monster, which is kind of weird, but it's also more book accurate. It was right around the Bram Stoker's Dracula time too. But I don't know, Frankenstein monster, just the idea of science going awry and coming back to haunt you, and then it just became, ubiquitous. Really, there's so many versions of this everywhere, and he's just got a look and a style that like is sort of synonymous with Halloween at this point. So it's I think you got to put Frankenstein's monster up there.
Cool. Okay. All right, Tony.
Mine was The Thing.
Oh, okay.
For number 2 is The Thing for me as well.
Oh, okay, Corey. Did you say why?
Well, just to echo what you guys are saying, same idea, and like, where the whole fact of Freddy is like safe place to go dreamland and like try to think happy thoughts and wake up and everything's better. Here it's like go to your friend and like get support and like try to get this thing together, but then now you can't because you have no idea if you can trust them, and there's that whole aspect of now you can't rely on anybody but yourself really, but you have to rely on somebody because you won't survive if you don't, and that's very scary. So
yeah. All right.
And just like the freaking like practical effects in that movie with the most freakish things, like they fucked me up.
That's why it holds up.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it holds up. I mean, because of the practical effects. I mean, it holds up today. You can still watch that movie. Number 1 for me, Ghostface was my number 1.
Okay.
I think that for me that is Scream, the Scream villain. For those not sure, that's the one for me that I like enjoyed that movie and the sequel, and probably the third one a little bit as well, just because I really like enjoy that aspect of a villain, like the psychological like freaking people out, and then I mean it was iconic, the Hello Sydney kind of thing. There's so many lines from that movie, and I don't know, it spawned like so many costumes that year. It was crazy, like the Ghostface costume. It was famous, and they even made fun of that in their own movie. And it's just like it was unbelievable. And I don't know, I really like that villain a lot. And the fact that it was also played by spoilers here, it was 2 people, was another awesome twist in that movie. I just really enjoyed that quite a bit. I don't know. I like that villain. And I love the fact that it was a play on the tropes of a classic, the classic films.
They turned all the classic horror films and like they made all those, how can like these people be so stupid and like like how would you survive? And like they turned it into a whole thing. It was a good take.
Yeah, the rules of everything. I remember that. That was great. So yeah, that was my number 1. Mike.
My number 1 is going to be Dracula. And it'll be the Bela Lugosi Dracula.
Which one's that?
The classic one.
That's the classic one?
Universal. Yeah, the guy with the light shining in his eyes. That one.
Yep.
And that's just because you talk about Nosferatu, but like a lot of the vampire lore after that was shaped by those movies with Bela Lugosi's Dracula. And to me, vampires are one of the more interesting horror tropes, just because it's like a former human, like corrupted, but not in like a weird zombie way. It's like almost like pretty sexual way. So it's sort of weird that way, but it's kind of like pulls all the aspects of horror together into sort of this one sort of undead thing going on. And I thought that those performances just sort of shaped that whole genre forever. And it's one of my favorite things to rewatch when I had to watch some classic films and classes in college and stuff. But they were good. They held up well enough.
Yeah.
So that's it.
All right, Tony.
Mine's gonna be the xenomorphs from Alien. I was thinking about this.
I like that one
because originally it was lower, but then I thought about it more, and to me, it combines a lot of the things. So it combines, it's something you can't reason with, you can't negotiate with it. It's not, sentient in the sense that like, you can converse with it, have a be like, hey man, what do you want? Like, I know some tasty guys down the street, nothing like that. it's not really evil like the Predator. It's just doing what it does, like in a sense that it's almost like the ultimate, not to be a pump, but like it is the ultimate predator in that it seeks out other creatures to adapt and evolve into like the perfect specimen. Really, just throughout the different the different films, whatever it takes over, it takes their features and like magnifies it to a degree. So like, and especially in the extended canon when they start getting like all this ridiculous shit, it's just like kind of crazy that there is no limits to their evolutionary capability and stuff like that. So just to me, it's like, and just like, I mean, visually it's horrifying. Like the first one you see, it's just like the mouth coming out of the mouth. I remember seeing that the first time that was like absolutely terrifying, and then just the drool coming out, and then even like it has natural defenses, so that like its blood is acidic, so just like you can't even properly defend yourself without potentially killing yourself and stuff like that. So just to me, it's like a combination of the creature, a predator, and just a sci-fi just ultimate evolution.
It's the ultimate killing machine.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
They were made for that.
That is my number one as well. The Alien.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, no, same ideas as far as where I'm at with this, and I first thing I think of is the original Alien film, and like you had mentioned before with the thing, and what we've said, you don't know what's happening, you don't know what's going on, everything seems okay, and then oh shit, something's going on, and now in here specifically, it's like in your face, like somebody is. You get the chest burster, like it bursts out of your chest first of all, and it uses you to as an it's like
that moment, that reveal was just crazy.
Yeah, so. And it's just like that, and then it just like goes off into the ship, and you're like, oh shit, now it's on the ship somewhere, and like. Yeah. How scary is that when you have no idea what this thing is? It just murdered somebody by coming out of it. Like, it's not like it's an external thing. It came out of this person's body, and now it's on this ship, and you know that it is dangerous. And then, yeah, when you see it for the first time, and just it kind of uncurls, just the, like you're saying, the iconic look of it, the art style really is what makes this stand above everything else. And I did actually I was contemplating between this and the Thing, like which one do I do? And for me it is Alien, just because I think that it's just so much more, not necessarily menacing, but because like you really like the Thing just shapeshifts and stuff, but here like you're saying, like how do you defend against it? And then with aliens, you see how they can multiply so quickly, and how dangerous they can be, and all the evolutions of it as far as like being younger and to how big it gets as it gets older, and then with the Queen, it's just it's such a great villain / creature.
You know what's crazy is when I was doing my list, I didn't even think about the xenomorph, and I'm like, I concur with you guys 100%. Like it would like shift my list. Like it's a great, it is a great villain. Like that first movie is so like thriller, like holy shit, suspense, like where the fuck is this?
It's one of those. Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, we're saying sometimes the scariest thing is the things you don't see, and like how it kind of blends into the background and blends into the scene, the environment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I would even go a little just beyond real quick. Just I found that a lot of them have been displayed as extremely cutting too. Just like the way they, like you said, like they lurk in the shadows or they hide and stuff. Like I remember at the end of the first movie, when Ripley is just like preparing to like go into the deep cold slumber or whatever like that, and she gets in her unit, and then like it just looms out of it, and she sees it, and she starts like freaking out because it's like, oh shit, it still got into like that area of the ship or whatever like that, and it's just like, or even in like the second movie when the Queen was able to hide underneath the elevator as it was going up, like they're just instinctively very cunning and intuitive, and it's just like makes it even scarier. So like to me, you combine the fact of like zombies, they're an iconic horror creature, but like for the most part they're slow, they're mindless, they don't whatever, but they're dangerous in hordes and mass, but you combine those elements and it's like, oh, by the way, they're fast, they're cunning, they're deadly, they're evolutionary, and it's like, oh well, what chance do you have?
Yeah, exactly. And those face huggers, man, those are fucking freaky.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Oh God.
Yep.
Force feed you my baby.
Yeah.
Like, we'll use you to.
Yeah.
Oh my
Take
God.
my seed.
Yeah. So.
So.
All right. Where were we on this thing? It was.
That's our number ones. The horror.
All right.
Our villains.
That's number one. So we have to figure out this list. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, give me 1 second. I don't know. Talk amongst yourself. Figure this out. Hang on 1 second. I'll be right back. I got interrupted. Hang on 1 second here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As far as I was thinking about Predator too, because obviously when you think of Alien, you kind of think Predator.
You have to.
Yeah. And the one thing I left Predator off my list is just because I felt like because of the reasons, some of the reasons you were saying though, is just like he's more of like a hunter slash like just like I'm just out for some sport, just like going around, and I never really thought of those movies like horror movies. I've more thought of them like as almost as action films.
Sorry about
so
that.
I didn't really categorize him in my mind as like a horror villain, but he is a scary monster. He's like, like I would not want to be.
Yeah. So the interesting. Oh, I was just going to say real quick. The interesting to me about that is like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, you know, they are hard, but like, what if like there was a subsection of the predator race that just like didn't adhere to those rules and were just, you know.
Well, I think some of that kind of occurs later on in some of the.
Does it?
The literature, yeah.
In the books, yeah, in the books. Those books are great. Yeah, so compiling a list here. Xenomorphs number one. I think we got that consensus here with 2 number one picks for that. It gets number one, and I'm okay with this 100%. Like I think it should be number one. I agree with you guys. The Thing. Would you go number 2 with The Thing? Because it was all 3 of our lists.
No, it's my number 2.
Yeah, two twos and a 3.
I guess Dracula would be next with 1 and a.
You could do Dracula next because it made my list as a 4, and then we use 2 different. We use 2 different Draculas, but it's kind of like we're going for that same style.
Yeah. It's a concept, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Freddy, Jason, Jigsaw, Freddy. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm okay with whatever you guys decide there. I think they're all kind of fall in the same category for me.
It is like splitting hairs down there. I'm good. I'm good with going Freddy, Jason. I'm okay with this and leaving Jigsaw off because those are the classic ones. So I'm okay with that on the list, to be honest with you. So
Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, and that's. I mean,
I'm so mad we never got a sequel to that.
All right, so
yeah, I mean, he woke up, right?
Our consensus list here: number 5, Jason; number 4, Freddy; number 3, Dracula; number 2, the creature in the thing; and number 1, the Xenomorph. There you go.
All right.
Good list. That's
Not
it.
too bad.
It's a consensus top 5 villain of 2019. As we get more movies coming out, who knows what shows up, but maybe we'll revisit this in a few years. I hope you enjoyed it. You can write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net. Let us know what you think. You can write us on Facebook as well, Twitter. We're on YouTube. You can comment on our videos on there. We're on Spotify. We're on I don't know if we're on iHeartRadio yet. I haven't checked, but we should be soon. So look for us there. iTunes, rate us on iTunes. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys next week. And happy Halloween if you don't hear us by then. So.